I like how you said I'm late. It's 1 minute. And honey, no comment to you. No comment to you. All right. Okay. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. So people will still be coming in. There we go. I got the dog. Yeah, you go look outside, dog. You go look outside, puppers. So letting people know I'm on. I am live on YouTube. Oops, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Come join the happy hour. Here we go. Come join the happy hour. Even if it's just you and I, Shar. Hey. Oh, hello, Dwayne. Yeah. So here it is. Happy hour. How do MJ, do we have to pay? No, you don't have to pay. Just come on in. Grab your pop water, wine. I got a little wine here. And what? You're not going outside. You can go look outside. Go look outside. Yeah. So I'm house sitting my daughter's place right now with her dog, who is very, very needy. Yeah, here. Yeah, you eat your log. She's a big dog. Um, she is, what are you? German Shepherd and American Bulldog. So that's her cross. So she weighs about, I don't know, she's about 50 pounds, I would say. And yeah, she's a good girl. You're a good girl, aren't you? Yeah. She's just constantly hungry and always begging me for food because she knows I usually feed her. So, and it's a different routine for her tonight because she gets away with a lot of stuff when she's with me, more so than with Olivia. So they do put a shock collar on her because she will bark at you and bark at you just to get food, and which is kind of a pain in the ass, and then sometimes won't shut up even after you discipline her. She's a very stubborn breed and needs constant, a constant routine, and sometimes that's a hard thing to do. This was her ex's idea to have the dog. And of course, her ex is no longer here. He's back home in St. Paul. So, St. Paul, Missouri. And so that's where he went back to. Yeah. And we got the dog. Actually, I'd rather have the dog. So, hello, Kyle. Welcome, Kyle. So that's where I am. So I decided tonight to have a happy hour, just to get together. I know the energies are extremely intense, but I think this is where we're coming into a time where, and I got, like, you got nothing to prove except to prove to God, you know. It's not a time that you have to go and prove to this one and that one. 2008 and went all the way up to when 2012 and up to 2017, and that's when Saturn came into Capricorn. I mean, people were wanting to show themselves. I have something to prove. I have something to prove. And this is showing you that you don't have anything to prove. Pluto in Aquarius is like, you be you. You be that unique, beautiful person that you are. And don't try and hinder that for anyone, right? Don't try and hinder that for anybody. Don't try and hide that beautiful person that you are. It's really, being the best you can to the highest good, and knowing that knowing that when you, even though you fall or fail or what have you, that best foot forward is always there. Hello, Earthshine Angels. Hello, Declan Joe. So it's that's where it's at, man. With this energy, and I know a lot of people are overwhelmed with it, and they will be. This is last time we were here with the sun ingressing it with Pluto into Aquarius was when I think it was the French signed a declaration or signed a treaty recognizing the United States as a country, and saying, okay, we recognize you, we know, we back you for who you are. And that's something, especially on the world front, because you want to make some friends on the world front, because you want to make trade, you want to do all that kinds of things. Now you're going to see a lot of things like that, new alliances happen. I mean, uh Russia and Iran, and it's not such a big deal right now, took Iran off of the, it's the payment system that all the world countries use, and it's has to do with US currency now, because Iran is now totally off of US currency, and they've gone with Russia. So that's not going to do too much to the United States at first. But if a bunch of SWIFT, I think it's called, if a bunch of countries start to do that, are you allowed to have that? Hey, are you allowed to have that? Leave her slipper alone. Um, do that. You're going to find, no, I don't want that log. No. She's got this big log. She's bringing it to me. Then you're going to see things start going kind of crazy with the American dollar and stuff. But things are just crazy. Hey, I don't know if any people except for me watching the WEF shit. That one lady, I don't know where she was from. She looked like a medicine woman, an indigenous woman. I don't know if she's from South America or if she was from Nepal or where. Um, she had black paint all the way to here. And then she wore kind of like an Asian hat, a Chinese hat. And then with that, she went and it's like she did a blessing over them. I don't know if I don't know if maybe she was cursing them, but I don't know what language she was speaking. I couldn't pick up the language. But and then she blew on them all. So it was like she was doing a blessing or blessing all of those. And so all of the big dudes for the WEF were up there, and she was doing her little thingy, and then she blew on all of them. And I thought that was kind of strange. I don't know what the whole significant, because I didn't see the whole thing. So I got to look into that a little further and find out what the whole significance was of her blowing on all of these guys. So it was quite strange. Some of the stuff that the things that they're kind of pushing, and then they have kind of weird advertising with it, especially when it comes to um going green and having uh green economy. And our lovely, what's her face, I can't stand her, she's such a witch. Our deputy prime minister is there, but she was talking about how wonderful it is that Canada is a mainly energy wise, green energy wise. And I'm just like, "Re- did you not know that we went down to minus 45 degrees Celsius, which is like Freeland, yeah, minus 26 Fahrenheit or some kind of, it was like stupidly fucking cold. And I mean, we had to borrow electricity from Saskatchewan because they still have coal, and they're still using coal. So I don't know where she was talking, or she's talking out her ass. I don't know. She's just, I know every time she talks, it's like somebody putting their nails on a chalkboard. like that. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. Yeah, it's just nutty. I'm in my jammies. Just let everybody know I'm in my jammies. I still got my makeup on, but I'm in my jammies. Hey, so I have my jammies on. I love my little shawl. Um, so I have my shawl and have the dog. Yeah. So you're in your jammies too? Who's in their jammies? You in your jammies? You're not in your jammies. Where's get your stick. Get your stick. Get your log. Go get your toy. Go. This is what she does. She'll sit there and stare at you. And if everybody's in there. I don't know if she's allowed to have my daughter's slipper, but I'm letting her have it. So it's just keeping her quiet. No, those are my slippers. Those are mine. You want to see? Show everybody. Come on. Come here. See? That's Aria. So she likes to be the center of attention. So funny girl. But yeah, in my jammies, just there's just so much happening. I saw on TikTok this guy went through a list of all the crazy things that have happened since January 1st. And then he was I think she's how old is she? I think she's 2. I think she's 2. 2 or 3. She might be 3. So, I know Olivia snuck her home and then came and picked me up when I was working with Andrea from the store. And then told me about this puppy they got. They almost got an Irish Wolfhound. And you know what? If she got an Irish Wolfhound, I could handle an Irish Wolfhound. Irish Wolfhounds are beautiful, beautiful dogs, and they're very smart, and they don't. They're just not as needy. Per se, they're just huge, big lounge dogs. That's what they are. The bigger the dog, the bigger the lounge. you know, I mean, my dog when we had the Italian Mastiff, she was a big lounge dog. You'd go around the block and then she was done. You could, sometimes you didn't have to make it around the block. She was just done. She'd rather just lounge. So this one is very high active. Like she needs to be out there running, but I'm the one looking after her this weekend. So we ain't going to be going out running too much this weekend. So because her energy's just a little bit crazy. So she's just a nutty dog. And it makes me appreciate my yapper at home. We went outside and then she ran right back in. She didn't even wait 5 minutes. She just didn't wait. She just looked outside, looked around, and just ran right back because it was just too cold for her. She just couldn't handle it. So thought that was totally funny. Hello, Erica. Welcome, Cynthia. Welcome. I can't see everybody. I can only see Dwayne here on YouTube. I can't see who's on my Facebook or who's watching on Facebook. So if you're over there on Facebook, I'll come over there later and say hi to y'all and see how you guys are all doing. So I know everything is just hi, Andrea. Okay, yeah, Andrea's over there, so I said hi. Apple juice. May God bless you all and shine his face upon you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, he's always shining his face on me. May God bless you and shine his face upon. Yeah, he's always shining his face. Hope, Mr. Apple Juice, you have some apple juice or something or a cider this evening, so to keep you warm wherever you are in this beautiful world we're in. So moving over to YouTube. Andrea moved over to YouTube. Welcome 2 drinks, 2 sips. There. So I got to place it. I got to put it down. Where can I put it that the dog won't? There we go. There you go. So, with the craziness, some of the questions that I've been getting asking it, is it going to get crazier? It's got to get crazier before it gets better. But I'm excited about this time, right? I am. I'm really excited. Even though things seem like they're going to you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Everything's going with, going crazy. But I feel like it has to have this pushback. I mean, in Texas right now, the border is being taken over by the Texas Border Patrol. They're not allowing the federal patrol to come in, and they're starting to arrest people at the border and send them back and say no, and that's against what they want federally. But the thing is that if it's a state thing, if the state is saying no because it's a republic, it's they can do that, and they're wanting to band together with the other states that are on the border, so Arizona, California, and band together and say, hey, let's do something about this, because this isn't doing anything for us. Because I have a couple clients down in Texas. One has her ranch is not far from the border, and they all have guns. Yeah, they do. And her ranch isn't far from the border, but she said they have had problems with gates being left open. So of course their cattle gets out, the horses get out, and that's an endangerment not only to the animals but to people around. They have found where they had to call for medical help for people, because they have found people, when they come across that they're injured or they're sick and they're sitting in the middle of their pasture. Her husband found some guy passed out. He thought the guy was dead. So some really crazy shit, right? And some people, who have crops that are right there on the border, in the crops, and people come across and they take a dump in their crops and everything. Those crops are done. You can't because they've been compromised. So they have to be destroyed because of that. So millions of dollars in property damage, not only, with security, cars being stolen, people's homes being broken in, same with, so there's so many issues with you can't have an open border if you are wanting to have sustainability within your country. It just doesn't work, as kind as you want to be. It's like saying that, okay, I'm opening my door to anybody can come into my house whenever they want. They can come into my house whenever they want. Your house would look like shit. People won't have respect for it. They're not going to care about your stuff, or the things that you care about, or the values you have in your house. So we're going to see a lot of things, especially, when it comes to, with the Texans standing up. And usually when the Texans, start getting pissed off, well, shit's going to start hitting the fan. And those are the types of things. These are the people that are uniting. It's the grassroots, the people uniting. The farmers in France too are uprising, because of the excess carbon tax that they want to pay to the farmers, and then cut any subsidy. I mean, the subsidies that they get is pretty shit, but they want to cut as much, cut as much back of subsidy, and then charge them through the nose through, diesel and everything else. I mean, the farmers I know that are out there, I can't see them using an electric tractor to for doing anything. So so that's the thing. So you can't, if I'm wrong, I mean, if there's any farmers out there, let me know if you can use a solar powered tractor when you're out there do in the field, or if you can use an electric one. I know in California right now, um, for doing any maintenance, it has to be an electric leaf blower and an electric hedge cutter and stuff like that. And some of these guys are saying that it's taking more time to do the work because, even though that their leaf blower is fully charged, and they're doing a huge property, it runs out of power, it doesn't last as long as the gas one's so much easier because you can go back to the truck, fill it up, and off you go. The battery packs alone are too heavy to put in a tractor. It's just yeah, it's crazy. I mean, um with some of the with a lot of the proposals that they are wanting to come forward. So this is, this revolutionary time, this evolutionary time, and change change. And I found it interesting. Here's another thing that at the WF they brought up disease X. And what have I been talking about? Yeah. So I found that interesting. So wanting to bring up this disease X stuff. So, you know, but uh not to mention they would have to completely replace their whole equipment shed to do it. Millions of dollars to the farmers. Oh yeah, definitely. What about the one they're talking about? Oh, the one in China that'll kill you in 8 days? Yeah. The mice eyes turn white. Yeah, that's because they decided to work on this um on COVID and do a new strain. Like what the fuck? Like let's do a new strain to see if we can kill humanity. Like okay, like are you smoking crack in there or what's going on in the lab? Are you fucking stupid? Is this and the thing is that when you say that that could kill your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your girlfriend, your lover, whatever, your dog, you know? So this is interesting that but that's not the disease X. It might have some affiliation or maybe they're going to taper it down. Um I don't know. I just it's one of those things that is like okay, guys, like what else? Oh, and Her Highness Princess of Wales is in the hospital. Found that interesting. But it's not what they're saying. I really don't think it is what they say. She went in for a stomach surgery or something. And she's in there for 14 days and is going to be off duty and not taking any royal duties, right? It's weird that Twitter's renamed X. Yeah, I know. I said X marks the spot, with a lot of my predictions. And that's what I was saying through 2023. X marks the spot. And I think High Vibe, what's his name, was saying things about X, right? They said it's not. They said it's not cancer. Yeah, I. She's off. He's taken time off duties. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. So there's something going on there. So, but you're not going to hear exactly what's going on. For anybody to stay in the hospital for 14 days is a long time. There was a woman a couple in BC who was sent home to do their own pap tests and then send it back through the mail. So many things went through my head. First of all, I'm not that bendy to do my own pap test. And then I want to know how far do I go? And yeah, Kate Middleton. And I also want to know is like, do they send the clampy thing home with you too? And how many clicks do you do it till you actually have to do it? Oh, back to Kate. Um, oh yeah, I know Prince Charles has prostate troubles. Well, he's old. He's old. He's probably tired of bending over and getting it up the backside. Um, sorry, just um, Kate. There is a lump there. There is definitely a lump, so I don't know if it could be. At first I thought it was a hernia, like something to do with a hernia, but a hernia, yeah, it would take some time off of that. Looking at some of her pictures, I didn't see anything bloating because sometimes you can see it protruded. But there was a time there that they thought she was pregnant because her stomach was quite bloated. And so they thought that she was pregnant. So it has to do, yeah, either that or she had a problem with something to do. And the next thing I got was something to do with her uterus and that. So, um, oh, she doesn't need a tummy tuck, honey. Have you seen her? She's in fine shape. So, and plus her youngest one is already like 5 or something. The tummy tuck would have happened right after birth. So, they wouldn't do that. Seems to be a lot of monarch ills or stepping down. Um, yeah, well, they're not stepping down. They're not stepping down. They're still there. They're just not doing their off of duties right now, royal duties. So stepping down means that they're not coming back. So that's quite interesting. But there's something there, and I think something there to do with her uterus and issues with the uterus too. So there's, yeah. So I keep on getting lining. So there's a few issues that are going on with her. So stop, get your little thingy and stop it. So that's interesting. And I know Charles will not step down unless he dies. That's the only way Charles is going to step down. I've done his chart, I've ran it, and I know people have said, and the whole rumor is for Harry will be the next King of England. First of all, for Harry to be the King of England, they have to go through all of, that means all of William's children are dead. Everybody's dead. Basically, it. Probably it could be fibroids. Yeah, it could be. All of the children would have to be dead. So it would have to be some drastic something comes through and kills them all. For William or for him to be coming in, it also has to go through Parliament. And if they would accept him back into England, that would bring in such an uproar because he is not liked right now, and the shit that he's done to the monarch and the things that he said about the monarch. And it's been proven a lot that he said has been a lie. Meghan has, they don't like her anymore. Uh, the country embraced her at first. They really liked her when he, announced that he was getting married to her. She was being really well accepted by England, and that was a huge thing. But turning around that they went to Canada and and then down to LA. So it's yeah, yeah. The only way Charles will step down is he will die. He's been waiting for this since he was a little boy, right? So she has a spell on him. Who does? Meghan? I don't like her mother either. So well, Meghan is she's a B actress who wants to be on the A list. So I wouldn't put it past that she would do some kind of shit to get to where she wants to go, but that would be here it is. That would be because we're in the time of the French Revolution, and what did they do to the royals? They cut off their head. So if that ever happened, there would be like an uproar to banish her in some way. So this is where her life would definitely be in danger. So that is one area when it comes, it's really when you start looking into the monarch and the energies of the monarch, it's really weird. It's really weird. I can't remember what Charles is. I know William is a Cancer and his wife is a Capricorn. Prince Charles was born under a regal star. I know that. And so was Prince William's first child, born under a regal star, a triangle, which is very prominent. Let's see. Let's do it like this. I figured it'd be there. Yeah, he's a Scorpio. Born, yeah. He was born the same day as he's born November 14th, same day as my sister. So, do you want me to put the collar on? So stop it. King Charles. And he does have a Taurus moon. His moon is at the same degree as his mom's, or close to his mom's. So his moon and his mom's moon conjunct, which is very interesting. And he's a Leo rising. So he's a Scorpio Taurus. So he's a very stubborn man. I mean, to persuade him to do something that he does not want to do would be very, very difficult. And having the Leo energy, rising up to be the king, to be the regal, that's, royalty is Leo, and having that royal energy. Definitely would not. And it's in his 10th house. So coming into his 10th house. So it's destined, like he is destined to do what he is doing, right? And to serve. And his internal core, I mean, very stubborn. I mean, if you know anybody who has a Taurus moon, or even Taurus, but a Taurus moon, they are very adamant on what it is that they like. They are bougie. They love their fine things. They love their finery. They're not going to scrimp on shit. They and having a Scorpio sun, and Scorpio sun is in his 4th house right there. So when it comes to home and family, very much passionate family, very important to him. Home and having a dedication of service and wanting to be of service, and with that Leo energy of standing up to who I am going to be, who I'm here to be. And of course, he's born in the generation with Pluto in Leo, which is all about, with Pluto and Leo is about establishment, having, your grandparents were probably, well, my parents had Pluto and Leo, but I'm old. But Pluto and Leo are ones, people get married. They get married for a long time. They have an obligation. Does he have any brothers and sisters? Who? Prince Charles? Yeah, there's Princess Anne. There's Prince Andrew. And then there's the youngest brother. So, yeah. So, and I think that's who you're asking. So, and then William only has his brother, and that's it. So, and it goes for going down. Charlotte, they recognize Charlotte, so it goes to the first son, then Charlotte, and then the youngest one after their dad. Well, no, because he's not supposed to be in the limelight. He's not supposed to be. He's one. Actually, the youngest one is He's King Charles's favorite because he's a little terror. So he's just a little so there's Prince Louis. Um so Archie is the other son's Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet. So, but Charlotte, Louis, and William. So Prince Harry has two children, Archie and Lilibet, but we haven't seen too much of those children in the being seen, especially Lilibet. So, and Lilibet was the queen's name. That was her pet name. That was the name her husband called her. That was the name that her dad called her. It was a very private name that was amongst the family. And when they named their daughter Lilibet, the queen thought they were going to name her Elizabeth, not Lilibet. And I think she tried, I don't know. There's talk that Megan, she did something. It's like nobody else can use that name. She branded the name. She branded the name before the baby was born. And that's just coming out now so that she can brand things with the name of Lilibet and use that name for marketing purposes, and nobody can take that name. So shit like that. So that it's just, I mean, smart, but that's the whole thing, is like that's not what the royal family does. That's not their thing. You don't brand our names to sell things. It's like that's sort of really frowned upon. Yes, we are here to be of service to people, sort of thing, even though that they earn billions of dollars. But a lot of the money that the royal family has and that they get is from property that was bought and acquired with William the Conqueror. And it's been in the royal family ever since. So there's a lot of property there from the Dark Ages that came through with William the Conqueror and stuff. So don't ask me why I know all this shit in my head. It's just one of those things that stick. It just sticks in my head. England's monarch, yeah. Well, England's monarch is, yeah, but it's interesting when you look into a lot of the like I find that's why the book that I that was given to me by Dana with the mummies and vampires, and it's interesting how the kings of old were very into uh skulls, and that was part of getting into the dark shit. Um Crushing up the skulls and stuff. In Africa right now, there's an area of Africa that's having problems with grave robbers, and because people are stealing uh the bodies out of graves, because they want to use the bones and grind up the bones and add it to this drug, and it gives them a super high, because in the bones there is still some kind of like sulfur within the bones. And when they do that, it gives them like this life. So hence we go back to the Middle Ages and to the alchemy of the holistic alchemy of using bones and grinding up bones and giving it to the kings, and that because it would give them this energy or pump them up, right? uh to get going, to so that they wouldn't feel lifeless or as they got older. So King James the First was the only one who refused to use anything, crushed up bones of humans, or the the jelly from the brain, or after the brain, or after the skull or within the brain has been sitting for a while, it can grow a moss, and the top layer of the moss is what they would use in different potions. and stuff. It's just and it had to be done at a certain time and and taken at a certain time at a certain moon phase with, certain other alignments that came in with Venus and Mercury and stuff. Could not do it on a retrograde time because that could set you back in time and you would not get the full potency, and it would have to be utilized by a full moon. Yeah, some of the recipes are just I don't have the book with me because I'm at my daughter's, but some of the recipes are just absolutely crazy. Just you just sort of like, what the fuck were they thinking? But if you think about, throughout time, even with the Aztecs and with the Peruvians, we could go into the Fijian people. Cannibalism was a thing, like um, to eat the warrior, to because they'd want to have that energy from that warrior, right? So if they killed a warrior and stuff like that, and it was their top warrior, to eat that would give you their strength of that person that you just killed. So it was a thing. And I don't, this is, if this is grossing you out, just let me know, because remember, I'm a Scorpio, and this guy just like, oh my God, this is so interesting. Are you serious? People did this shit. Um, some other things that they would do is that, and that's the other thing that I find very, very interesting, is that they would only, especially for certain recipes, they would only utilize a person up to the age of 24. And so the people that they would um to use their parts and stuff would have to be between the ages of 0 and 24, and it would have to be when that the person would have had to have died through excruciating circumstances, so through an execution or something along that line, some kind of something that got their adrenaline going, and that would be or fear or scared or something like that, young meat. But the thing is, after the age of 25 or after the age of 24, your frontal lobe is fully developed, right? So if you think about what's happening now in the world, is that they are wanting to utilize children between the ages of 24. They want to get their hands on children from the ages of 0 to 24. The reason being is that you can manipulate people that way. And when you are able to manipulate, they don't want you after 25. So when you look at a lot of things that they're wanting to do in the progression of the world and the things that they want to do, so that's when you find things to do with the LGBTQ community, and the pan, making children pan, cutting off breasts and penises, and some kids say that they just want to be neutral, androgynous, after their boobs are cut off and shit like that. They want that by the time they don't want anybody after the age of 24, because then you can't control them. So if we can control your mind until then by the time you're 25, that is within you. That mantra, that belief system, those values, whatever it is within you, and you will instill it onto others and push it onto others. So I find that quite interesting, and the parallels that go along with that too. So it's just very crazy. And I mean, the elites know all this kind of shit, and some of the shit that they are planning to do. I mean, right down to the Olympics this year are mainly on water, right? And the opening games are on water too, right? Blocking puberty. Yeah. Because if I can block you and keep you at this age, I can control you, right? So, and that's where right now, kids born between 2008 and 2014, That is the age. I mean, that is, they're finding that that's an age of high suicide rate. So kids that were born between 2008 and 2015, 2014, I think, they're finding a lot of suicides within that age, and that's part of the age group that they're going after too. So it is, it's horrendous. It's horrendous. It's just bullshit. That's why when I see all of this with, people with the rainbow and all of this, no offense to anybody, but I'm just saying, stating a fact. This is stating a fact through the astrology. When I see shit like this, and I see that's sort of becoming their mantra, or you see them walking with protesters, right? The protesting and stuff, and the marching of it. Something's up. There's something there, that some kind of manipulation is going on within the whole system. And if you look at a lot of their mantras, or their manifesto is very similar into an alignment of Marxism. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Even when you start hearing them talk and trying to argue their point, and somebody's coming up who can really talk to them and point out certain things, and then they can't address it back. It's just, or they don't want to have that discussion. So I find it interesting. I find it where it's, for many, it's hard, because they want to understand, and they want to be kind. But sorry, my nose is starting to run. But when you're the thing is, it's if you're being kind, and the person, and it's still hurting society, hurting that person, and it's going to hurt them in the long run, you're not being kind. You're not being kind. And this is where, with this, especially with Pluto going back to Pluto in Capricorn, or going Pluto in Aquarius, this is where people are going to be seeing that you really have to stand your ground. You really have to stand within your truth. Because the thing is that we have this, it's like God is watching, the divine is watching. What are you doing? How are you aligning to your true self? If you're not aligning to that true self, and you're going to continue going back to the way, or bend the knee, if you're going to be bending the knee to, just because that's what they say, that's what you need to be doing, that's where things are going to start, it's all going to start hitting you back. So you got to stand in your light and be in your truth. And sometimes the person doesn't like what you say. Well, that's too fucking bad. They don't like what you say, but I'm standing in my truth. And I still think if you got a ding dong between your legs, you're a man. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care what anybody tells me, or what you want to say. So I think women have fought too long to get to where they are. And if you think a woman couldn't even hold a credit card in her own name till 1973 or 1975? Like, think about that. We couldn't have our own credit. Couldn't have our own credit at all. You divorced your husband, you're fucked. And that's how Mary Kay got started, because when she divorced her husband, she was screwed. No bank, nobody would back her, anything else. She had to go to like a small time lender or somebody, and that would help her out. And that's how she started to do her thing, and got Mary Kay. Same with Louise Hayes. When Louise Hayes started to step out, like, she left her abusive relationships and stuff. She was lucky that she came from a family of some wealth, that she did have some money to be able to do her own self-publishing and start pushing it out and doing that. She I gotta say, like, she started to speak out about AIDS and the things that um were being done to the gay community. Now, there's a difference there between the when we get into this, where she was standing up, and she was actually um standing up because Fauci was the person who was in charge of the AIDS, and information about AIDS was Fauci. So, same guy who was in charge of the last thing that went around. So, and a lot of the misconceptions that happen with that. Oh, he's a monster. He's a Capricorn. It's amazing how many Capricorns there are. Trudeau's a Capricorn. Fauci's a Capricorn. Who else is a Capricorn? There's a couple other out there who's a Capricorn, and they're just pure evil. They're just like horrible. Like you get Capricorns on the wrong side, they're just evil. They're just evil. Um, People. Biden is a Scorpio with his. I think he has his sun and moon born under a solar eclipse in the 12th house. So he's pretty god awful himself too. So it's amazing when you look at some of these charts. Who is it? Obama, I think, is a Leo, but he's got the asteroid Lucifer on his sun. Trump is a Gemini. Trump is a Gemini, baby. You just listen to him. He just goes off and he just like goes and he doesn't give a fuck what you say or what you think about him. He doesn't give a shit. He just came out and he was talking about that's the thing is like, they're going to push against him and do all kinds of shit. I don't know if he'll win. I don't know. This election is a real crazy one. With who's sort of coming forward with all of this. But he said that if he got elected, he is not going to bring in what is it, the CDC? So the currency. So he's not. He refuses to do that because of privacy rights for people. I know rumors that he's win, but I'm just going by the astrology. The thing is that you're going to find with most countries, they're going to be going for the conservative. Taiwan they just voted in their new prime minister or prime minister that is pro West. They're all for the West. So you're going to start seeing shit going on because China's not going to put up with that. China will not put up with that kind of shit. So, but I mean, we have 60% of the world having elections this year. I think France is going to come in with an election. England is going to have an election. Finally, thank fucking God. They keep putting these guys in that are not elected. And that's going to be an interesting election too. I think Ireland is having an election as well. Quite a few countries are having elections that are coming up. Canada's not till 2025. That's going to be a fucking weird one because we're going to be in the height of the war. So, and he's trying to pass a lot of things to give people money. And the thing is, and especially back east, there's so many people that are going to be without jobs, people losing their homes. It feels like we're never going to have one. Well, we had one in 2020, right? He did it in the height of the pandemic, which was crazy. And and then he was giving out all that money, and of course people back east just sucked it all up, right? And that's where the majority vote is back east. So that's interesting. But it's going to be an interesting. I can't see. I know they said Biden's running again. I can't see him running again. I can't see him. I just feel like he's too far gone. Do you want me to put the collar on? So stop it. You can come up here if you want and lie down, but stop growling at me. Yep. So again, rumor has it he will call on this year. No, who? Trudeau? Trudeau won't call one this year. Fuck no. He's not going to call one. I can guarantee that. He will not call one this year. He will call one in 2025 and for 2025 because that's his 5-year up. But he will not call one this year. This is the year he's going to pass as much as he can and give people money. That's what he's going to do. And that's going to cause huge inflation. By the West. You got to look at the East is a funny thing, right? 1 second. What are you doing? Okay, you can't be barking at me. Come here. Okay? Can't bark at me. Woohoo. You can't bark. You can come up here. Come up. You can come up behind me. Come on. Come on. There we go. There you go. Okay? You could come up here. There we go. That a girl. Big suck. Yeah, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. You're a good girl. Yeah. So yeah, that's a funny. The thing is that because of there's going to be so much happening in the United States, and with the border thing, and with the border thing, that's going to be interesting. Willow keeps coming to you. What? Yeah. Okay. There you go. Are you okay? All right. There you go. So, people want to see. There she is. There we go. Yeah. She just wants to be loved. That's what she wants. If she could be a lap dog, she'd be a lap dog. Right? Yes, you'd be a lap dog. So, yeah, she's a good girl. Yeah. Yeah, you'll get stuff later, okay? Because you're being so good. Yeah. And then she can smell the dog. She can smell the dog and the cat. Where's Boots? Where's Boots? Do you know? She loves Boots. Like watch it. Boots. Bootsy. She's gonna freak out. Now she's looking all over the place. Well, I'll argue to disagree, but I've been using tarot for 30 years, so it's all in how you are wanting to look at things. So, but yeah, so she gets all excited. She loves the cat. She loves Boots. She gets all excited about Boots. So, yeah. Well, we're coming up to the hour since it's happy hour. So crazy energies, crazy shit that's going to be unfolding. I know there's a lot of things to do with the election. The thing about the one thing about the United States too is that you got to look at what's going on with the border. You got to look at what's going on in New York right now. And the uprising that's going to be coming up within those cities, Chicago too. Boston is another one. Because I think Chicago and New York have called themselves sanctuary cities, and that's why they're having so much trouble. But it's all if Biden gave, was it 24 hours or 48 hours to Texas? You don't give Texas an ultimatum because Texas doesn't give a shit, really. Because they're another state like very similar to California. They can be very self-sufficient without the United States, without them, right? In Maine, they removed Trump from. They can't remove Trump from the ballot. They keep trying to do that. That's actually, in doing that's causing a revolution within itself. It'll go to the Supreme Court. They can't do that. Because what are they saying? You can only vote for this person and that's it. You can only have this, you can only have a Democrat and that's it. So that's the thing. And they've tried to do it in other states. It just doesn't get passed. So so it's interesting. Yeah, they can I within 24 to 48 hours they have to put his name back on. And they're trying everything they can to not have him. I don't care if you like him or you don't like him. It is the system, right? They have the whole population of people who are homeless and living in cars. Something is going to break. Well, yeah, and same here. I mean, the thing is right now, if you've been to Edmonton is bad for homelessness. It's just crazy the amount of homeless people that are in Edmonton. And it's fucking cold up there. So, I mean, there's a stream that I watch that for Vancouver, and I watched this guy stream and stuff, and the amount of homelessness has doubled in Vancouver. It's just crazy. And same, I mean, with the amount of people that they have brought into New York right now, it's just things are going to burst. But there's something there. How to really focus tomorrow, especially the energy of the universe. Well, tomorrow with Pluto going into, I mean, we've already had Pluto go into Aquarius. He did last year. He hovered at 0 degrees and then retrograded back. But this time he's with the sun, and he's going to be conjuncting with the sun 2 more times. So it'll be a total of 3 times with that for the length of time. And then we have a full moon coming up in Leo. I feel like it has to do with, I don't know if you read my blog that I did about the nervous system and the steps for the nervous system and stuff, to do that. So move, put on music, listen to high frequency music. I think 967 hertz. So listen to really, have high frequency music going on in your background if you can, which is really a connection to the God energy. So just a change of conversation. What should we be working on this week? We started to talk about it before I had to go out. My emotions are all over. Yeah. Oh, look. Okay, someone's telling me about. You can preach the Bible all you want, but the New King James Bible, do you know that it was written by a king? And that he left a lot of stuff out in that Bible? So do your history. It was written by a king, King James I, Mary Queen of Scots' son, who went around and killed a lot of Catholics in the name of God. So killing people in the name of God is bullshit. So, so you could, the real King James, I don't read King James. So it doesn't matter. The New King James Bible or whatever you want to quote me, I don't give a fuck. Because to me, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing to me. It is a book. It is a story. It has some beautiful stories, but you also have to know your history too. Before you start preaching anything to me about Jesus, about the Bible, know your astrology. If you don't know your astrology, you don't know your Bible, because the Bible is all based on astrology. And you got to understand, where did Christianity start? It started at Constantinople. Why? Because he wanted to have control over all of the religions. All of the religions. And the first priests were Magi's. And you know who the Magi's were? The Magi's? You don't believe in astrology? Well, I don't know how the wise men fucking found Jesus. They had to follow the stars, did they not? Isn't that astrology? And follow the information in the history of astrology? How could you not believe in astrology? Or the full moon and the new moon? Farmers follow the full moon and the new moon. And that's how they do, that's how they sow the oats and the wheat and everything else. And that's how they plant, and that's how they harvest. You go around with your head so far fucking up your ass, thinking that you know things and want to preach things. Nah. What the truth is in your heart and your alignment to other people and accepting people for who they are. Right? And that's what it is. You don't have to believe in the zodiac sign. I don't give a shit. Because then you don't understand what it is. You don't understand the constellations and how the zodiac works or the moon rising. Okay. All right. Don't go in the ocean, okay? If you're by the ocean and there's no water up there by the shoreline, stay there for a while and then you'll find out. The ocean is controlled by the moon. Lunacy, people going crazy during the full moon, suicide rates go up. So many things that are so aligned with the astrology and the energies that are coming down. Whatever. You believe you. So anyways, with all the energies that are coming in, you got to move, you got to play really, like music that is about 967 hertz, I think it is. That vibration is in a vibration with God, bringing in connections with nature. If it's really nice out this weekend, get outside. Journaling, writing things out, writing your emotions out. That's that are coming in, and taking time. Sometimes it's just like taking that time to have a cup of tea, sit down, try and relax, put on a funny movie, something that's going to make you laugh, something that's going to just allow for you to get some of this energy out, right? And move through it. Things are just it's going to get crazy. Pluto's going to go almost, I think, 2 degrees in 6 seconds, and 26 seconds, I think it is, of Aquarius, and then retrograde back, and then will retrograde enter into Capricorn again September 1st for the last hurrah, and then go forward back into Aquarius November 20th, and then it will stay there for the next 20 years. This is where, and this is right when you're going to have a Mars retrograde, you're going to have a Mercury retrograde at that time, I believe, during the elections. So this is going to, it's going to be kind of crazy, in September, October, November. So this is just getting you guys, getting things going, right? Exactly. I have free will. And this is just to get things going. So this energy is really a connection, getting you to connect with yourself, getting you to connect in the directions, taking time to listen to yourself, put your hands on your heart, do those connections is so, so important. And move forward. If you have to cry, cry. Don't hold your emotions back. Don't hold that back. Allow yourself to, to feel what you need to feel. That's when we go hide in a bunker. Yeah. So that's really what you have to do. You have to really take that time and allow yourself to step forward, into that feelings that you have. Don't try and bypass your feelings. Don't try and say, oh, well, that's just the way it is. No, I acknowledge them, and as you acknowledge them, they will move through you. And sometimes it might take a little bit for them to move through because there's a lot coming up, but they're in this for 20 years. And it'll get to a point where it's, as we're going through it, it's like this, it's going to be becoming second nature to how we're going to do it. We're entering into a new landscape. This is we're entering into where alliances are going to change and connections with people are going to change, and deep connections are going to be formed. This is where we're setting into a newness that, if we can do this right this time, we can really change how people can connect with one another and trust one another. So, yeah, it's a fun time, isn't it? Isn't it, Arya? Yeah, it's a fun time, beautiful time for us to be connecting with one another. So, any last things? I got to get going here. Got a little puppers that wants to go outside for the last time. You want to go outside? No, you just want. I know what you want because you've been so good. You've been such a good girl. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You've been such a good girl. So, have you been a good girl? Yeah. She says, hold on. So, hang on here. There she. Ah, trying to show everybody what's my. There she is. See? You see? Okay. Oh, she's so funny. Anyway, she's getting all excited now. Anyways, you guys have a good night. God bless. May the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you and all you say and all you be and all you do. Have a great one. I'm going to watch a movie with the dog and just kick back for a bit because I have a whole house to myself with nobody but just me and the dog. So blessed be everybody. Thanks for joining me on Happy Hour. Blessings. Bye-bye.